Morning, beautiful. Lovely to see you out here. I apologise for the breeze, but it's just too nice not to be outside, so we'll just deal with the wind rumble. Let me show you the garden. Flowers are sporadic at this time of the year, but there are still a few of them. So we have some dahlias. You can see I need to deadhead them. There are a lot of finished flowers there. Morning, Janie. It's lovely to see you. So, but there's still a few that are coming out. There's even a few very, very late snow carpet roses. Oh, it's hard to see. There you go. The light's better. Very pretty wee things. What else have we got? Look, the aucuba that I pruned like a mad thing is growing back. I love its leaves. They're so gorgeous and lush and everything that's good about greenery. The very last of the phylacterum flowers, which are so delicate and beautiful. Sang Marie, good morning. Look at this. Isn't it lovely? It's beautiful to see you here. It's beautiful to share this. And we have some fuchsia, so that's dangling and being lovely. Good morning, Vicky. I really need to prune this before next season. Hi, Victor. The roses are more or less done, but we have some late stars. Look at this. This is Maria Callas, beautiful pink rose, and you have to imagine the scent. It's gorgeous. So there it is. That's the star of the show today. And we have... Oh, morning, Julian. Good morning. We have the very first of the Commelina flowers. There you go. It really is a proper blue. Blue flowers are actually surprisingly rare. Most of them are some shade of purple, but this is really blue. So, and there's more over here actually, but I haven't been out in the front garden to show them to you. It's a bit tangly and mad in here, but look, you can see there's some native ferns in the back. The things that grow only in the shade, and those poor scrangly lilies, which I need to move because they need sunshine. Last but not least, the tail end of the gladiolus. Let's have a look at this one. It's still beautiful. Trying to get the focus right here. There you go. Let's see if I can get underneath it. Now you can see inside. That's the really beautiful part. It's when you can see inside. Blessed day, Victor. Enjoy the replay. Glad you could hop on. So that's the gladiolus today. And last, it's a little bit eroded by the fact that it's been on the ground, but look at that. It's the orange and yellow one. It really has come out that way. In fact, this is a special one that's come out all sort of funny. But there you are. They fall over when the wind blows. We actually had quite a good year not having wind knock over the gladiolus for a while, so that was nice. Tony, beautiful to see you. Welcome, welcome. First time wandering in my garden with me. It's lovely to have you join us. It's lovely that every single one of you join us. So welcome one and all. She says catching her breath. So what I want to talk about today, when I looked at what I was going to talk about yesterday, I realised I only talked about half of it. Sharon, morning lovely. I only talked about half of it because I got all excited about ease. Because if you're feeling like creating your life or creating your dreams requires all this discipline and this effort, and I've got to visualise my life today, and I've got to meditate, and I've got to do this, if it's all lots and lots of hard work, you're creating from a space of hard work. Morning, Linda! Look at this. Linda knitted this hat for me. It's beautiful. And all you're going to do is create more of that effortful thing, and that's not what you want. You don't want more effort. You want to create something more fun, more wonderful, more joyful, more abundant, whatever it is. And effort is none of those things. So I got very sidetracked and talked about ease, because for a very long time, effort and struggle was just... It was so ingrained in my state of being, I didn't know how much it was ingrained in my state of being, so I had to learn ease. But today I want to talk about the other half of the story, and the other half of the story is that when you want to manifest your dreams, and this is fact, okay, I'm here referring to the body of work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, of which I am a dedicated student because it works. because there's science, because it's repeatable, because anyone can do it if they're willing to make the effort, and it does take some consistency, and it's not a fast answer, but oh my God, it's amazing. So what I've learned from Dr. Joe is that if you want to manifest your dreams, if you want to manifest anything, you need two things. Absolutely not going to happen without two things. You need a clear intention, which is a thoughtful, brainful process. You know, this is a thing that I desire, and you need to really know what it is. And I don't mean, talked about this yesterday, I don't mean you have a picture of it. I mean that you really know what it smells like and it feels like, and how it sounds, and how your life is when you are XYZ, right? The entire thing is really that real inside your mind. And when I say that, I have to qualify this by saying that for me, when I start creating anything big, I usually have no frickin' idea about most of that. Darcy, good morning! I have no idea. So it can take some time, actually, to really create a clear intention. A really clear, complete, this intention, right? The other half of the equation, which in some ways is actually easier, is you need an elevated emotion. To manifest anything, you need an elevated emotion, and that elevated emotion needs to be how you will feel when the thing that you have conceptualized and created in your mind and in your internal senses and imagining is here now. And the reason why I say it's kind of simpler is because all you got to do is generate an emotion. But refer back to yesterday. If effort and struggle and difficulty and impossibility are what you're used to, that can actually be quite a challenge too. So it can take some time to get good at doing this. So we're taking all of that as read. Tanuia, good morning, beautiful. That it's going to take some time and it's going to take some practice. So quickly, because I feel this is important. Why do we need both? In 60 seconds or less, an experiment was done by some people, some researchers, about this, right? About manifesting stuff with your thought alone. Now, one of the things that happens when DNA changes its expression, like from sickness to health, or the other way around actually, but we're talking about making an improvement in DNA, or just getting DNA to replicate something, is for DNA to do something, it has to unwind from that little, wound up chromosome, and then it has to do its thing, and then it rewinds again. So they took some DNA and they put it in some vials, and they took some people who were experienced prayers. They were really good at focused intention. They said, we want you to have a really clear visualization and everything, to see it, that this DNA is going to unwind and rewind. And they did that for however long it was, an hour or two or whatever, and you know what? Nothing happened. And then they said to the same prayers, look, we want you to feel grateful and thankful and everything that the DNA has unwound and rewound, that it's responded to your intent. We just want you to feel grateful for it. And they did that for the prescribed length of time, and again, nothing happened. Janelle, good morning, beautiful. Morning, Shayla. However, when they said to the experienced prayers, okay, now we want you to clearly visualize and see and imagine and feel and everything that the DNA is unwinding and rewinding, and we want you to hold this elevated emotion in you as well, like, yes, this happened, woo! And they did the experiment, and at the end of the experiment, 25% of the DNA responded. It actually did what they commanded with their thought and their emotion. It has a physical effect on matter. This is how it works. So, we have to practice both creating this thing that becomes totally real to us. You're right, Antoni. It becomes totally real inside us. We have to practice it. And I'm constantly going places where I'm thinking, how is it that it's going to be when I'm like this? Who am I in this place? Because I don't know. Because it's outside my box. It's new to me. So we have to practice, and we also have to practice generating the elevated emotions. If you spend a lifetime feeling scared or anxious or angry or whatever, you're really used to that. Your body's conditioned to it, and the receptors on your cells are saying, look, I made extra receptors because of all these hormones you pour, because that's what happens, right? Have a thought, neurotransmitters in your brain, neuropeptides in your hypothalamus, or your pituitary, whatever, chemistry, hormones, emotion. That's it. That's what happens. So we condition our bodies by our emotions. If you have a repeated emotion, you can bet you change the morphology on your cells. And suddenly you decide you want to feel something different. It feels really wrong. It feels impossible, speaking from experience. And that's because your cells are used to something else. And they're saying, whoa, we're addicts to this stuff. Give us our daily fix. Give us our minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour fix of resentment or pain or sorrow or whatever it is, or lack or fear. Okay? That's how it works. So I've had to learn how to generate positive emotions. Oh my God, that took some time. So here's the thing. When you keep practicing these things, every time you have a novel experience, doesn't matter how small or how large it is, but the larger it is, the more impact it has, good, bad, or indifferent. In your brain, neurons make new connections. When you have a new experience, neurons in your brain make new connections. And when they make new connections, there are neurotransmitters, and those talk to your pituitary and your hypothalamus, and you get neuropeptides, and then you get chemistry, and it's different because it relates to those new connections. Different connections, different chemistry. Now, if you have that one off, that's fine, that's great, but the connections will fall apart. Hours or days. Doesn't last. If you keep repeating this thing, oh, who am I now? How do I want to feel? Oh, God, that feels really wrong, but I'm going to try it anyway. You know, if you keep repeating and practicing and practicing and practicing, what happens is you build first of all, it's like you're carving a path through a jungle. There are no neural pathways in your brain relating to who and how you want to be. But after a while, you wear a little deer track, it's like, oh my God, there's a little gap between the bush here. I don't have to fight my way through with a machete. I can sort of weave my way through. And the more and more you practice it, the path gets wider. It becomes a proper walking track, and then there are bridges and steps installed, and then it becomes a road in your brain. It becomes a super highway where you can go and access that state of being, those thoughts and those feelings, Poriwa, morning beautiful, and it gets easy. It's not easy to start with. You are bushwhacking. But after a while, you wear the trail in your brain. And because you've fired and wired, you fire the thought, you wire those neurons together, you literally pour that new chemistry every time you do it, and then you're starting to change the environment in your body. And this is the science, really, really truncated. This is how people manifest healings for themselves. This is how I've healed my thyroid condition, and I forgot that I had asthma, and I noticed the other day that I had dry, cracked lips since I was 10 or 11. I don't have that anymore. That's amazing. Nothing fixed that. All this autoimmune stuff has gone away little by little by little by little because I have been literally changing my brain and my mind from this terrible mindset of lack and impossibility and difficulty, and that was what created my autoimmunity. And I'm uncreating it step by step by step, day by day, firing and wiring, pouring different chemistry. This is how it happens. Now, I haven't even been really focusing on healing. The healing just sort of happened as a side effect of me changing my mind, literally changing what's in here and changing what pulls to here. So, you practice it, you fire and wire it. Now, when you get good at it, it feels good. It's awesome to be able to go into that place in myself and experience my future before it's happened. It feels amazing. And it reminds me, I do that, and then I'm set up for the day to at least be able to remember who it is I want to be. Mateo, good morning. It's really, I get to do that every day. I wouldn't not do it. I would not. Would I not go and drink from that well? Are you insane? Hell no. Linda, good morning, lovely. So, I practice it. It feels really good. And when you're starting to get clear about who you want to be and what your future is, when you can go there in your imagination and it feels really good. Because you've really mastered that state of being. Even if you have to go into a deep meditative state to do it, to start with, you master that state of being. It gets easier to recall and to practice. And you find yourself during the day thinking, oh, hang on a minute. If that's who I want to be, how would I respond to this now? And that becomes more automatic. It becomes easier to do and be and inhabit that. Now, this is the bit I wanted to get to, she says. Okay, looking at the clock. The piece I wanted to get to, this is the magic, right? Not only does all of that happen when you fire and wire and you practice the new state of being and you get the chemistry and you heal your body, and you do, right? It's not going to happen in 5 minutes, although sometimes things happen very fast. So more often it takes time, and that's normal and that's okay. Kathleen! Morning, gorgeous being! Lovely to see you here. But what happens is this, and this is quantum fact. Again, I learned this from Joe. I learned all of this from Joe, truly. But this is fact. When you are manifesting this clear thought, this, I know what this is like, I feel it, I smell it, I taste it, I touch it, I'm there, I can feel the movement, I can feel the temperature, that absolutely being able to inhabit the state of being that you want in your mind. That clear intention is your broadcast to the universe that says, this, I want this. This is me. This is what I'm having. This is who I am. This is my order. Right? That's what your clear intention does. The elevated emotion, so this is an electrical signal that goes out to the universe. Brain makes electricity. The heart is where you generate elevated emotions. You can't have an elevated emotion without activating and generating it from your heart. Not possible to do anywhere else. That's where they live. The heart, when it's in that elevated state, when you are feeling an elevated emotion, your heart is generating a magnetic field, and it's powerful. 50,000 times more powerful than the signal put out by your brain. The heart is amazing when you get it coherent, right? Coherent brain is a clear intention. Coherent heart is an elevated emotion. Now, the reason why those researchers with the DNA had to put the two things together is because the brain, the clear intention says, this is what I want. And that magnetism literally draws it to you. Literally, it is a physical effect. It influences every atom in your universe, in your life. That elevated emotion is literally drawing things that are on the same frequency as your elevated emotion to you. Because remember, like attracts like. This is how the law of attraction works, right? But I really don't like to use those words because we don't actually attract anything. We simply are who we are, we be who we be, and the universe endorses that immediately, instantly. And then you say to me, well, why is it taking so long for my money to arrive, or for my healing to arrive, or my lover to arrive, or, my accommodation to arrive? Why is it taking so long? Khan, good morning, beautiful. And the first answer that comes to mind is, well, because I asked myself that question, I'm not a vibrational match to my desires yet. The second answer that comes is that I don't know the wisdom of the divine observer that is observing me, observing it. We watch each other and we create in that observation. We observe potential into matter. I don't know the wisdom of the divine observer. I don't actually know the very best way that the things that I need, desire and want can come to me, because I'm not that big. The divine observer is all of it. I get to merge with the divine observer. I get to merge with the unified field and feel that and know that and be there. And that's where we make love and we create things in that space. And then I come back to here and it's like, the needs are still there, but I'm different and I respond to them differently. So why doesn't it happen immediately? Because there's stuff I don't know. Because it's coming from somewhere I don't know. Because it's coming from an unknown place. If it was coming from somewhere that I could anticipate and predict, it wouldn't be coming from anywhere new. And I already know what everything that I know in my past experience is delivered to me, and I'm creating something different. So it's going to come from somewhere I can't possibly expect, and in a way that I can't predict. And that unpredictability and unexpectedness is scary for us, because we're used to being able to predict things. To say, oh, well, it's going to come from here. I will put my 5 days work in, and I will get my paycheck. That's familiar. I will go to my fridge and open it and there's food. That's familiar. Suddenly, if you go to your fridge and there's no food, that's scary. Your brain says, this is dangerous, I'm going to die. Or you lose your job. Oh my goodness, this is scary. This is dangerous. I'm going to die. Because we're in the unknown, right? So that's the thing. When we can't predict it, when we can't see how it's going to happen, that's what knocks us out of the elevated state. That's what knocks us into fear, into survival, because we can't see the very thing that we are saying, hang on a minute, I want something new. And it's not going to come from anywhere that I understand or recognise or can predict. Oh, that's scary. And then we're out of it. So this is the dance, the practice, the adventure, the balancing act and the paradox. That we have to let go, as Joe says, of the thing we've used our whole life to get what we wanted, for something greater to take over. And it's completely counterintuitive, and we don't want to do it because we're used to staying in control, pushing the hamster wheel, trying, efforting, struggling, and at least surviving that way. And all of us here are wanting to do something else, but that's why it can be so challenging, because you think, all of that stuff is going on. You just think, I want to create a different life, but why is it so hard? That's why. It's not what we're evolutionarily programmed to do. You find a cave, it's got water by it, and there's game. Nobody's going to push me out of my cave. But hey, there's a bigger world outside the cave. So I know I'm out of time. I'm going to show you the cherry tree in summer, covered in leaves. Actually, there's very few of them are starting to turn. It's not autumn yet, but it certainly is dry. So, you know, I guess the tree might just want to conserve its energy a little bit. And we've got some of the, I forgot to show you, we have some anemones in flower. It's a little bit dry here. Tristan, it's lovely to see you, beautiful being. I'm trying to find you some, I've got to walk in the garden here, find you some fresh flowers. You see they're a little bit dehydrated. I actually have to throw some water on here the next time I do some washing. But there you go. There's always a sprinkling of flowers at this time, and look at the amazing ratamachea. The garden grows, and so do you, and so do I. Thank you so much for joining with me. Remember, it takes a clear intention and an elevated emotion to manifest your dreams, and both of those take practice, and it's really worth the effort to do so. Big love. See you tomorrow.